It is the most wonderful time of the year. It's also the most stressful time of the year, and that time where heart disease can strike, even for someone who's not typically at risk. 9 News health expert Dr. Pyle Coley is here to talk more about this.
I'm so glad we're talking about this, Dr. Coley. I think a lot of us can feel like the buildup of the stress, or we're in it.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the risk of heart attacks, especially right now during the holiday season?
Yeah, as a cardiologist, this is my busiest time of year. And there was a study that came out by the American Heart Association. Guess which day is the highest risk of having a fatal heart attack?
The 24th.
Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
Followed by the 26th, followed by New Year's Day. And so this really knocked our socks off when this data came off, because we're doing something wrong. Americans are most likely to die from heart disease, and if they're dying much more on these particular days than any other day of the year, well, then that means we need to wake up and pay attention to what's happening.
What are the factors then? What do you see this increased risk for?
So it's been studied quite widely, and they say the biggest driver of this is delayed care. So what happens when you're sitting at Christmas dinner and maybe you don't even recognize the symptoms because they feel like a little bit of heartburn, a little bit of indigestion, a little bit of nausea? You say to yourself, oh, it'll go away. Right? I don't want to disrupt everybody's dinner, so maybe I'll check it out tomorrow. So the first and most important thing, and when it comes to heart attacks, time is muscle and time is risk of dying. The faster we get that blood vessel open, the less likely you are to die from that heart attack. It turns into just a little blip on the heart muscle and never into a fatal event. But when people delay coming to care, that's the biggest driver. Now add on to that we probably have a few more heart attacks on Christmas Day, on New Year's Day, because what are we doing? We're eating a lot more. We're drinking much more alcohol. We're much more stressed than we should be. It hasn't been cold here lately, but at many parts of the country, the cold weather can actually also trigger vasospasm and constriction. And if we're sitting on a plane for long periods of time or a long car ride, we're at increased risk for blood clots as well. So it's just a lot of risk factors.
So aside from heart attack, and maybe you were speaking generally, but like heart disease, is there an uptick with that too during the holiday season? And are there different types that we should be aware of? I just want everybody to have the information out there.
Everything. So heart attacks are plumbing of the heart, right? There's a blockage in an artery. The electricity of the heart can also go haywire, and that's arrhythmias. And there's something called holiday heart syndrome, which is usually in people, young people, who've never had any problems with their heart, whether you drink a little bit too much, even one night of too much drinking, and their heart goes into something called AFib or atrial fibrillation, an electrical disturbance. You can have problems with the pump. The heart is not muscle, it's a pump. So heart failure, we see a ton of people getting into the hospital because of alcohol, because of salt, with heart failure. And then of course many of the other types of heart problems that we can see as well that can occur: weight gain, increased inflammation, depression, and a lot of other mental health problems can occur as well.
I'm curious how much stress really factors in. I mean, especially being moms at this time of year, it's so much. And why is this week Spirit Week at my kid's school? It's like all the things you have to do, then dress your kid up as the Grinch on Friday. I don't have time for this.
I know.
But it is genuinely stressful, and that is concerning.
Very concerning. And so they've even looked at this. And essentially what they say is that stress most likely is an amplifier and not the main driver. So they contribute about 10 to 20% of heart disease risk to the stress. Now, having said that, there are certain subtypes. Postmenopausal women, for example, were extremely sensitive to stress. People who live alone or are prone to loneliness or depression or have mental health problems, they're extremely prone to stress. We can even see a problem called stress-induced broken heart syndrome, or Takotsubo's, where your heart literally breaks. It goes into heart failure. It stops working because you're sad over the holidays. So I don't want to minimize the importance of stress, but I don't want us to blame everything on stress either, because a lot of it is, of course, behavioral and some of the other things that we're doing. I hope you ladies are managing your stress as busy moms over the holidays.
Broken down a couple of times.
I had some wine last night, and I've gotten really good about not drinking when I go home, but I needed it.
I know.
Well, a little bit is okay.
Cookies for some project today.
So you know what? But if you're coping with the stress,
what advice do you have before we let you go?
So don't miss any medications. If you're somebody who takes medications regularly, now is not the time to miss any. If you are being bad, try to do some damage control. So maybe you had a little extra glass of wine. So today you hydrate, you drink an electrolyte solution. Just kind of make sure that you're taking care of that body.
Thank you, Sam, for the bottle of water.
Taking care of that body. And then just remember, this is a time for happiness. So whenever we feel sad or upset or stressed, gratitude, I think, does wonders for our body, our mind, and our heart.
Amen. I like that. Dr. Coley, thank you.